Are you looking for the magic pill? 95% of diseases are not genetic, it's lifestyle. Well, let's talk about healthy aging and what it really means for us as women. Pull up your coffee, tea, whatever you have, and let's get into it. First off, though, I do want to say this, that I am on a mission to create this community, this power aging women community. And it certainly is not about strength training, but it is about the power of healthy aging as women, as we're getting into our 50s, 60s, 70s, and what does that really look like? What does that really mean, right? And what I'm finding is that I want to reach women worldwide. I've been a naturopath for 30 years, and I really want to reach the women to help them and understand what it means to be a healthy ager, power aging woman, but I can't do it by myself. And I'm looking to see if this content resonates with you. Please share this with your friends and family, women who are also on this path. And if you like it, then also subscribe and hit the like. But most importantly, I want to hear from you. That's really what community is all about. I say some things, you say some things, I ask questions, you ask questions, and we do this together. So appreciate that. And let's get into the nitty-gritty of what is going on with women, because last year I went to a conference in London where I saw thousands of people just coming from literally all over the world, mostly Brits, of course. And I was very curious. I was like, okay, are they going to go into, their whole supplement thing? And because they've always been against that, right? Europeans are not much into supplements like the Americans. So I was like, ooh, I want to see what happens. And of course, if I ask women, when I was at the conference or even now, I say, well, are you looking for the magic pill as you're aging? No, no, no. We know there's no magic pill, but maybe there'd be something to help us, with sleep, or maybe there's something to help with weight, or maybe there's something to help, they're still kind of, because that's the media push, and that is the push from the men, the health gurus out there. And I saw many of them, and I was like, you're not looking as great as you think you do, dude. But here was one of the eye openers is there was a woman, you got to follow Cynthia Thurlow. She's really out there. She's a nurse practitioner, and she's teaching about gut health and metabolic health during menopause. It's a very real thing. And it was standing room only, right? And she was not just pushing about the pills, it was lifestyle and what do you have to do on the daily for the foods and all this kind of stuff, right? And I'm like, wowza, that opened my eyes. It was like, okay, as women, we're smart. We know it's not just about the supplements, right? And the magic pill, like, this is going to help us with healthy aging. It is about things like what Cynthia Thurlow and many of these female specialists are teaching us that, hey, there's a lot to this, right? But in this episode, we're going to talk not about all those details about how do you sleep better, which supplements, and all that kind of. That will come in many other episodes. I've got a whole plan for you guys this year and lots of programs I'm super excited to share with you. But this time is a little bit different. This is why I wanted you to grab your tea and get your coffee or whatever you're drinking at this time. And let's talk about three things. The nitty-gritty is you have to have your purpose. Then you have to be motivated. And then is discipline really an issue for us? Oh, I got my opinion on that. And I'm sure you guys do too, right? So we're going to get into that nitty gritty. And I have a lot of notes here I want to share with you guys because it's been coming up a lot, this last year I've noticed with women. Like, it's like, oh man, I've lost my purpose. And it's like, why have you lost your purpose, right? What's going on after, the 50s and 60s? Well, one of the things I hear is that once the kids are out of the house, right? They've grown up, they've flown the nest, right? Spouses start to change, partners start to change, and sometimes we go through divorces. I'm certainly one of those. There's other things that are happening with work changes and things have changed, right? And then the hormone symptoms hit, that really throws a monkey wrench into the whole life of what we thought we knew. We're like, oh yeah, I kind of have this down. I'm kind of keeping up. And then hormones hit, all bets off. It's like hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, not able to think clearly, remember anything. It's just like absolutely crazy, right? So in that, what I'm finding is that you lose your purpose, right? You lose your purpose of, oh, well, then, the kids are gone, the partner's changed, now these hormones, and you get really overwhelmed, confused, anxiety comes in, depression even, right? All these different things. So let's do this together. We're going to do this together and right here, right now. And it's not going to be super hard, but it's something you need to think about, and it will help you as you're aging to figure this next season of your life out, because that's really ultimately what I want for you. So here's the thing. Why do you want to be a power aging woman? And again, I'm using that term broadly, not just for physical strength, but feel the power, be empowered, have everything you want, your health, your good attitude, your happy outlook on life, all these things in the season of your life. So here's the thing. What I saw going back to that conference in London, many of the health gurus from America were there. And I know many of them. I've been in this business a long time. And I'm not going to name the names because I'm not going to throw them under the bus. Well, not yet, anyway. No, it's not necessary. It's just that when I saw them in real life, I was like, ooh, you want to live till 150? That's your goal, but this is how you look now. Ooh, guys, I'm not. And I approached some of them because I know them really well, and I said, "How are you doing?" I'm doing great. I'm going to live till 150. That's my goal. And I'm trying all these different things. And they're taking, handfuls of supplements, like, 50 at a time, 3 times a day. It's crazy. And they didn't look really that great. They look like their age. They didn't look like, okay, they're 50 and they look like they're 20. Didn't see that at all. None of them. It's like, okay, bro. So they're promoting living till 150 and being healthy, but as women, do we really care about living till 150? I don't. I don't think a lot of us do. I think we want to live healthy, a quality life, and if we're ready to pass at 85, hey, great, we feel great, and it was a good year, a good lifetime, and many years of good time. We're good, right? It doesn't, the number, I don't think matters to us as much, but we want to have the power, the ability throughout this time to feel good every day in the season. That's the goal. That's my goal, and I'm hoping that's your goal. And if that is, then stay tuned, and we'll we'll get into that. Okay. Um, I know that what I'm hearing a lot from women is that we're on the motivation. What is going to motivate you? So I'll start with me first. So for me, in my 20s and 30s, I've said this in many of my videos over the years, is that I was the sickest I was ever in my whole life. I had chronic migraine, chronic sinus. I had strep throat every single month in the winter. I had the flu. I had gallstones, kidney stones. And then in my 30s, when I started my clinic, I had near heart attack. I was like, it was bad. And then I was borderline diabetic. And then in my 40s, I got Lyme disease. And then I had frozen shoulder. It was like, it was insane. It's like, I don't want to be this sick the next season of my life. And so now here I am in my 60s, 68 to be exact. I have nothing. I haven't been sick in my 60s at all, like nothing. So that's 8 years of not being sick, nothing, no arthritis, no age-related diseases, nothing. That is a really cool feeling, but it took me a long time to figure out. So in each of these episodes, I'm going to give you my tips, what I've learned. And of course, in my other programs, like my reset week that's coming up, we're going to take a week to just kind of do some very gentle changes, what I learned, because it's not about just taking a bunch of supplements and doing what these dudes are telling us, yeah, just take these supplements and go do your strength training and, lift your 50 pounds. It's like, no, listen, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do cold plunges and all these things. No, no, no. But I learned in that is that it is a progression and you got to lay the foundation down. But to know your why of like, okay, I never want to get that sick again. I want to be able to travel. I love traveling, as those of you guys will be following me, like I'm literally based in Europe, but I travel all over the world. And I want to be able to lift my luggage. I want to be able to be mobile and not be worried about being sick all the time. That's my why, right? So what now is a good time, right? Take out your little pen and paper and write down what is your why? Like, why is it? So I will tell you that some of the women have told me they want to be healthy so that their purpose is to be able to spend time with their grandchildren. Some do say that they want to go cruising and travel, right? Make sure it really is a purpose that you know your why for you, not just, oh, I want to live so that I could go, be with my grandchildren. That's wonderful. But what else? Like, what else do you want? Do you want to be like me, not be sick anymore, not have the worry about dementia? What is it for you? I want you to focus on you as well. Right. So take a minute, like you put this on pause if you want to, or come back to it. But this is a very important point where you just sit down because then you're motivated, right? Because then when you're motivated, right, you're like, okay, the science has shown that 95% of diseases are not genetic, right? 95% are not genetic, it's lifestyle, right? We're going to talk about that. It's lifestyle based. And so if only 5% of, so we say, oh, my mother had Alzheimer's and my grandmother had Alzheimer's, so I know I'm going to get Alzheimer's. So I'm just going to do the things to avoid Alzheimer's. And I'm like, is it that? Is it? No, it's not genetic. And we're going to talk about some things to avoid things like Alzheimer's and dementia. Okay, so let's get into the motivational part, right? Because once you decide your why, it's like, okay, I don't want to be sick anymore. I want to be able to travel. Okay, that's my why, right? And I want to teach to you guys what I know is working and not working. So I want to do programs, right? Okay. But to be motivated on the daily, it is not easy. Like there are days I wake up and say, oh, you know what? It'd be so nice to just stay in bed and watch movies all day, eat some popcorn, have my treats, and just right? There are days, and that's okay, honestly. That's okay to just take a day or two on a rainy day or on a wintry day and just take care of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, right? There really isn't. So stop feeling guilty. It's like, today I'm going to sleep in. I'm going to sleep in until 10 o'clock. Good for you. You go, girl. Just go do it. Right? But the question is about motivation is that there's an argument about, well, you just need to be disciplined. That's the dudes talking. You need to be disciplined. You need to get in that gym first thing in the morning. And I will say, I think there's a lot of pressure by media, and we as women then succumb to that. It's like, oh, we're not doing that. I mean, we're not feeling motivated, so there's something wrong with us. Girl, listen, get that thought out of your head. You're fine, right? Because here's the thing. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just when you have hormonal issues and you're cooking and you're cleaning and you're walking the dog and you're taking care of your partner and you're taking care of your parents and all these different things. Listen, it's not about motivation. You're just tired. You're burned out. You're overwhelmed. You're doing a lot. I have been there. I'm like, it is not easy, right? So don't succumb to the media of like, oh, we got to do more, do more, do more, and social media. It's crazy. Just erase that from your mind. And again, put it on pause and says, you know what? I need to just start listening to myself and not what everybody else is telling me on media, right? So here's the thing. The pressure on media, and this is something I've been watching the last few years, because when I let my hair go gray a couple years ago, and I do a lot of video. Like I have like almost 100,000 followers on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok anymore due to all the different changes. But here's the thing is I got a lot of backlash and from a lot of women. I'm like, oh, you don't like my silver fox look? Well, guess what? I am going to show you even more. So, and I had long hair at that time and it was growing. Yeah, it's not a pretty sight. I'm like, but I went into it. And I'll tell you why. The biggest inspiration for me was my buddy, Dr. V, from Breast Cancer Conqueror, known her for many years. And when she had cancer, she found out that the chemicals in the dyes that they use for the hair, even if it's the most natural, all of them have chemicals to some point. You have to in order to change the gray to whatever color you want. And she decided she was going to go all gray. Now, her gray turned, oh my gosh, it's breathtakingly cool. She's a beautiful woman inside and out. Big shout out to Dr. V. But it turned out, I mean, and it was great. Like she was, like some people have like all gray and it's really bright and all that. And it looked gorgeous, right? But it inspired me. I was like, oh, if Dr. V is doing it because she knows the chemicals are in there and she doesn't want her cancer to come back, I'm like, I'm going to do that, right? And that's when I started watching other women who went gray, like Jamie Lee Curtis, you know, the actress, Andie MacDowell, Helen Mirren, right? The gray, they just let the gray go, right? And I was like, yeah, this is important. And I want my brain health. This is very important to me. I want to be sharp as I get older. I don't want to worry about dementia. And now there is a connection with the amount of chemicals. Well, think about it. You know, those chemicals are going right into your brain. And I was getting headaches after, and I was trying to use these natural products. I was getting headaches. And it would last for a couple of days. I'm like, what am I doing? Right? Because those chemicals go in your head and your body tries to adapt and deal with the toxins and all that. And I'm like, if that's going in my brain, what's going to happen 10 years from now or even 5 years from now? So I made that decision. Even though I'm on the videos so much, I said, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop and let it grow out. And I had to keep making videos. So I wore hats, I wore scarves, I wore different things to cover up sometimes. But I basically just let it out there and I took the backlash. It was not easy. I tell you, it was not easy, but I had to weigh what was more important. Was it more important to have the chemicals and worry about dementia? Or like my mother, who's now 92, she went faithfully every single week to the hair salon. Like I remember she would just be sitting there for hours at a time, getting her hair done, colored, and the hairspray. Do you remember VO2, all over? She'd be teasing her hair and then spraying it. Well, guess what? When she got into her 80s, she lost her hair, like big gobs starting to come out. And she was very embarrassed. She knew why it happened. And she had to get a wig. And wigs are not cheap. It was like $1,500. It was expensive. But she had to get a wig because she didn't want to go out without the wig and, having her hair so she paid the price. And she said, looking back now, she would not have done it like that. She would not have, but she didn't know what the options were, right? Now we know the options. Now we know, like, okay, chemicals on the brain and in the shampoos and sprays and all these chemicals going in our brain not only can affect us to the point where we could get dementia, but affects us hormonally. Oh, peace out. I'm done. I'm not going to. So yes, I do all natural, as you could see. And that's, those of you who are watching, yeah, I don't do any of that. I just refuse. Now, let's talk about the skin. We're still on the motivation. What is going to motivate you for healthy aging and in becoming a power aging woman? So you have to make that decision. And the other issue is with your face. Let's talk about it. So Botox, fillers, all these different things and plastic surgery that you could do on your face to get rid of the wrinkles, the brown spots. And I remember waking up when I was 58 years old, looking in the mirror, I was like, oh, look at all those wrinkles. They just popped. It was like one day it was fine, and the next day the wrinkles just popped. I was like, no. Well, here we are. I just remember saying that. Well, here we are. I'm getting old now. 58, right? And then the brown spots came out. Now, I grew up in the sun going, outside with the copper tone tanning lotion, right? Love the smell of that stuff. And getting burned many, many times on my face, on my body, and it was like, oh, okay, well, the fun part was, then it would peel and then all that stuff, but it was not good. It was not good. So of course now I have brown spots on my face. Of course I have brown spots on my body. And it's like, okay, that's the way it is. So trying different things, like having more protein, all definitely helps. But the wrinkles are the wrinkles. They're not going to go away unless you do plastic surgery. And so you need to decide, because the science is now showing Botox, fillers, plastic surgery all have long-term consequences, and it could damage your body. It could damage and cause nerve damage, which is extremely painful. And they don't often tell you that. The Botox could stay in your face and cause damage in the long, all these things could cause damage. Now, listen, I'm not going to say, "Oh my God, you're choosing plastic surgery. How could you?" And no, I'm still gonna love you guys. You're still my friends. I'm like not gonna judge you, because everybody's at a different place, right? But if you are clear on your why, and then it's just like, okay, what's going to motivate me? Well, will getting some Botox motivate me to keep going and doing all these other things? Maybe, maybe not, right? But you have to weigh all these things and make a decision. So I really encourage you, when you're done listening to this, sit down and say, okay, I'm hearing that the science is showing that there could be some serious consequence, but I'm not ready to go gray, or I'm not ready to give up the makeup, or I'm not ready to give up, stopping the wrinkles. That's fine. But then when are you going to be ready? Because it hits everybody. Like, look at the one that really, I'm so happy for her that she went all natural, is Goldie Hawn. She's got a lot of wrinkles. Like her face, you could tell she's like, wow. And she's embracing it, right? Now she colors her hair, but lots of wrinkles. Celebrities have so much pressure. I mean, did you see Sarah Jessica Parker? One day she was sitting some crowd somewhere, and she saw Andy Cohen, and she looked, and I remember the conversation on social media. She said, Andy Cohen has gray hair, he's overweight, he doesn't look good. And she said, I'm gonna go gray, and I'm gonna do it too. And then she did, but then I saw her at a gala, and she had changed her hair color again. It's hard. It is not easy, right? But when you know your why, and you're motivated to stay on track for healthy aging, you're like, you know what? I'm going to do this for a couple more years and then I'm done, right? And that's the key, is when you know that, okay, I understand the science, I'm going to make the changes, and I'm just going to set the time when I think I'm going to be like ready. And that's it. Now, I'm going to have a few guests on that are going to show us some things that could make our skin healthier, because crepey skin on our body, on the brown spots on the back of your hand, the neck, all these different things. You can improve it for sure, right? And I'm going to have guests who are going to talk about that. They're skincare specialists, and they talk about it in a really interesting way and can show you some things, but it's still a matter of embracing it, right? And I will tell you, there's also a cultural part to this. So in my travels, I went to this little town called Stroud. My Brit friends will know about it. And I was so in love with this little town. It was really funky. It was really like a hip vibe. And it was right at the base of the Cotswold Trail, which is very similar in the States to the Appalachian Trail and that. And it was a beautiful area. It was just breathtaking. I was there for a whole week. But here's the thing. Women were walking around, and I know they were like 50s, 60s, 70s, right? I mean, you could tell their wrinkles were out there, no makeup. They were carrying their groceries on their back. And every single one of them, just about, like it was a lot, had gray hair, but then they colored it pink and green and blue. I'm like, this is too much. I absolutely love this. So they put little pink and green and blue highlights in there. And it was just so much fun watching them because they embrace their age, but they add a little bit of something to them. Now, is the chemicals from those any better? Probably not. But just that they were embracing the no makeup and being fit and just saying, you know what, whatever it takes, I'm going to embrace it. So I noticed that in European culture, it's much more accepted to be aging. I find that when I'm on, the transportation, the bus, the train, this plane, whatever, people are always very kind to me. I have never had a problem with the gray hair, and I've just felt very accepted. But not always in other cultures. Some cultures, like when I was in Central America, South America, there's not a gray-haired woman anywhere that I see. Hardly. They put their makeup on, they all coloring their hair, and they have high heels still. Well, I don't know how they do it walking on cobblestone. It's really funny. But that's their thing, right? So here you come along, especially my Latina friends, you're saying, hey, wait a minute, I don't want to use makeup and color my hair if I know it's causing this damage. But the cultural pressure from family, holy smokes. Stay focused, my friends. Stay in my community. We'll encourage and inspire each other because that's what it's all about. That's where you're going to be able to continue being motivated, right? Okay, so let's talk about the last part because this has just come up, is that the discipline. It's like, everybody's saying now, the men, talking about the dudes who are always out there, promoting all their stuff. It's like, you just need to be disciplined and use this product and do the strength training and lift your weight, and it's a discipline issue and not having enough willpower. And I call BS on that. I am just, listen, no, ladies, no, 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 don't go down that rabbit hole. That is BS. We are so multitasking in our daily lives everywhere. I've not met a woman who doesn't. There, we cook, we clean, we walk the dog, we take care of our partners, our family. We do all the things, right? It's not a matter of discipline. It's not a matter of having more willpower. Here's what I say. This is my take on it as a 60-year-old woman. I'm like, no, let's just create healthy habits and do little, little exercise snacks throughout the day or little healthy snacks throughout the day. It's a habit. So we all know, like, okay, we're going to brush our teeth and we're going to, on the daily, right, 2, 3 times a day. And we take showers 2, 3 times a day. What about adding a little dry skin brushing in between? Well, that takes nothing. Or what about, oh, wait a minute, I need a little bit, more protein because I want to build up my strength. That takes nothing. That's a protein smoothie. What about adding a little bit of, oh, I'm going to do some squats when I get up and stretch, right? So, you know what, I'm going to do my stretches, but I'm also going to add some squats because I've heard that helps build those leg muscles so I get more oxygen to my brain. What does that take, doing 10 squats a day? Right? I think it's a habit thing, right? Now, to get the habits going, I have learned, and I'm just saying this is what works, is we can't just do all these things all at the same time. We just say, again, my purpose is to live a long, healthy life with, for me, age-related diseases, not have those, to be able to travel and to be sharp, right? And my motivation is to help you guys and making sure that I'm able to do all these things. So then I'm thinking, okay, on the daily, what do I need, right? And I have found that increasing my protein and my strength training. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have joined a gym and I go each time doing a little bit of the arms, nothing crazy, like nothing crazy. Just okay, I'm gonna build up my arms. Next time I'm gonna build my legs. Maybe I'll do some swimming. I'll go to the sauna. An hour max, 3 times a week, because that's what Dr. Stacy Sims said. Oh, you don't need that much. She said, do some, heavy lifting, 5 reps. You're good, and do that 3 times a week. I said, really? That's all it takes? Okay, great. So it's a matter of putting that in a habit and saying, what do you need to do to sit down and say, this week for myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to add more protein. I'm going to add a little bit more squats. I'm going to do some dry skin brushing, whatever, going to bed at the same time every night, right? It's understanding that when you make a habit, it's like when I get up now on a Monday, I'm like, oh, I get to go to the gym today and do it. Do I like it? No, I am not a gym rat. I don't like going to the gym. Nobody talks to you. It's like work, but I feel so much better after. And I was just thinking today when I was making the podcast notes, I'm like, okay, I started on December 4th to go back the day after my birthday. And now here I am 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks later. And I will tell you, my weight didn't change. I didn't see any muscle definition. But I kept watching the women like JJ Virgin, like Dr. Stacy Sims, they got the muscles, right? Nadia Piatka. Like I look at these women who are really buffed out and toned, not like massive, but toned. And I just kept watching them. They kept just saying, just keep doing it, be consistent. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna just make it a habit because I have my goal. I know my why. And now finally, it's like, oh, I got to pull in a notch on my belt because I feel more toned. I don't know if I lost weight, but I feel the toning. I feel the strength. I feel my balance better. I have a little bit more energy. The stamina for sure is there. I'm feeling that way better. I was like, well, there we go. I guess it does work. And it wasn't easy, but now after 7 weeks, I could say, yep, it worked. So my encouragement to you guys is look, understand this. Each and every episode, I'm going to try to do the things. I will do the things that will inspire you, encourage you, keep you on track, motivated. I do have a reset week coming up where that's for the women who are like, hey, wait a minute, let me dive into this a little bit more. It's not heavy duty, it's very gentle. I'll have the link below. But ultimately, what I want you to think about in this episode is what is the part that resonates with you most, and then do that part. So if you have your why already, it's like, hey, I want to be able to travel more. Great, you have your why. Okay, what's going to motivate you to keep on that track? To make sure that you could travel and not worry about, oh, can I climb the stairs carrying my luggage? And what about when there's no elevator in the place I'm hanging, and can I lift 25-pound luggage all the way up those stairs? Well, what about walking 5 miles? So, can you do all those things, right? And then knowing that those little habits, is that the part that you need to work on? What are the daily habits you need to do right now? So let's talk about it. Put down below what resonates with you. And then let's talk about, oh, well, what about how do I incorporate this? How do I incorporate this habit? Right. And whatever it is, I'm here for you. And we're here together. And I learned so much just from talking to you guys and hearing from you. So let's talk and let's stay tuned to more episodes where I'll go deeper into the teaching about all this stuff. But in the meantime, thank you so much for being here, watching and listening. And we'll see you on the next episode.